back here in Chicago at the Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference, and I'm very happy to be joined by Mackenzie Peterson, the VP of Marketing for AdvisorShares. Great to see you. Hopefully you're having a great time.
Thanks for taking the time. Really appreciate it. It's been a ton of fun. I know it's a busy 2 days, but excited to spend some time and chat.
Hey, listen, I don't care how busy it is. Being able to talk with people like you is what it's all about.
Yeah.
And I love getting, the ability to let people know what the different companies like yours, AdvisorShares, entail and how they can help people. Let's talk about AdvisorShares for people that don't know about it.
Of course. So AdvisorShares, we're looking kind of from more of a investing perspective. We're an ETF shop, so kind of traditionally we've got a ton of different funds that focus on different themes. In the context of Benzinga, definitely focused in on cannabis. We have 3 ETFs and are the largest cannabis asset managers out there today. We think we have some good, strong products in the cannabis space and beyond, and that's sort of our deal.
Well, let's talk about some of those products. And as you know, obviously we're in this space here where there's people from all different walks of life, all different walks of the cannabis space. But what are some of those great products you guys have?
Yeah, of course. So the biggest one that we have is MSOS. So that's the one that people are probably most familiar with us. So that's the U.S. only focused cannabis plant touching. There are only 2 others out there that are kind of similar, but I think we feel like we approach it the best. Of course, we're biased. But it's been great being here because we're able to kind of connect with a lot of the operators of the public companies that are here, during the conference, kind of touch base and see how they're feeling about where things are heading. Generally, things seem pretty positive, so I'm glad to hear about that.
Right.
And then the other 2, we have MSOX, which is a leveraged version of MSOS, so people who are traders and understand fully the consequences of leverage would look to that to kind of capture some of that volatility. And then we have YOLO, which is a global approach, can kind of be in the U.S. and beyond. And, I think being very choosy with the companies that you're picking outside of the U.S. Is a good option with YOLO. And kind of a fun ticker, I think, in general.
I was going to say, you only live once, man.
You only live once. It's true, yeah.
Let's talk about where we're at as an industry. And it's been fascinating to talk with great people like you. And listen, I understand that there's been times where there's been growing pains. Mm-hmm. There's been times where there's been, people stressed out about scheduling and all the different things that we know are the pressure points. But there really does seem to be a lot of good feeling right now and a lot of positive feeling about the future, whether it's a year or 2 years or 5 years. I know you got your I Vote pin on. Now we obviously have Proposal 3 in Florida. Mm-hmm. There's other states that are looking to, get things passed. I feel like obviously the whole country should be legal. We know that. But where are you at as far as your feeling about where we're headed in this industry?
Look, I understand. I feel like people have been on a hard road in the world of cannabis. It's been tough, and a lot of people have really worked hard to operate in a kind of crazy industry as it's emerging and growing. So I definitely understand the pain, both from sort of an operating perspective, but also an investing perspective. But like you're mentioning, I do think that there are catalysts that we're starting to see, like, just even the election. We were talking earlier about both the candidates seem to be at least the most pro-cannabis that we've seen in the past. Again, I think there are different levels to that ultimately, but I think we're seeing that floor risk of one candidate being a prohibitionist and the other not. It doesn't seem that way anymore. It seems like sadly, politics are kind of catching up to the citizens and kind of being like, hey,
which is the way it's supposed to be.
I know, I think that's the one thing that, to me at least, is a little refreshing for this election. I know it's contentious. I know it's really, really tough. But it does feel like it's the one issue that can kind of connect people. I think, if you're at the Thanksgiving table and all those things, you can talk with your grandparents or you can talk with your cousin, and they all kind of have a story or a connection. And I know that can be medical as well, but even just from a fun recreational side. So, yeah. So ultimately, I think feeling good on that front. Feeling good, of course, with rescheduling, and like you're saying, Florida. Also, definitely want to be spending some time to think about the people in Florida. I know they've had a crazy time with both of those hurricanes. But I think ultimately, it seems like a good market, seems like they're getting support. But I think Boris Jordan from Curaleaf had said it best where, don't give up the fight. Looks good, but keep pressing, and it's not done until it's done.
Well, 2 things. One, to echo your sentiment on the hurricanes. Now, it's like there's no Category 6s, but that's what this could be. So obviously we send our love and our thoughts and best wishes to everyone there. But also another point you made, which is still fascinating to me, no matter what side you're on politically, the fact that both general election candidates in the 2 major parties are basically pro-cannabis in a certain way. And like you mentioned, there's layers to that. But that, to me, is progress. And I know some might say, it's for political reasons. Whatever. It's never really happened before.
I think it's a big one. And I do think from the Republican side of things, I think just coming out and saying it pretty clearly and directly, whatever happens with this election, I think it helps shift the cultural kind of makeup of the Republicans. 'Cause I think traditionally they've been a little more conservative on, which makes sense. But I think this marks hopefully a shift in kind of an ability to see this serves the American people, and there's no reason to be hyper punitive about it, and sort of just marks a change, I think, in general. So, yeah, we'll see.
Obviously, very exciting times for you guys at AdvisorShares, but let's talk about 2025, 2026, the next, 2 to 5 years.
I only see good things, but I'm also very biased. It's just because I think we're seeing those catalysts come together. I think with rescheduling, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't think it's 5 years, personally, in terms of getting that done. But I think I see more positive things. I think I see, as normalization continues to kind of settle in and we kind of see it become just a continued investment theme, and more people who are kind of on the sidelines, a little sort of like, what's this new thing, cannabis? How can you invest in it? Isn't it federally illegal?
Right.
Are able to kind of warm up and see it as a good growth opportunity. I also think a lot of people have talked about, do we get listing? Do we get something that kind of really allows? Because I think people want to do things that are easy, which I totally get. If you're investing OTC, it's harder, it's more expensive. So I think providing those inroads, just to say it's on a normal exchange, you can get access to it, makes a huge difference. And I hope to see that in the years ahead.
Yeah, but by the way, sometimes things that are worth it are not easy.
That's true. It's true.
You got to get that as well.
It's true. You got to put in the work and the time.
Mackenzie Peterson, the VP of Marketing for AdvisorShares, a pleasure and honor to talk to you, and looking forward to great times ahead for you guys.
Great to have you on. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much.